Philadelphia news, team of my heart. Kevin Durant just named his dream starting five, and guess what? Joel Embiid made the cut. But there's one big name he left out, and it's sure to raise eyebrows. You feel that, don't you? The frustration, the hope, the anticipation? This is Sixers news at its core. Durant's pick of Embiid over another star might be the validation Philly fans have been waiting for. Stay with me as we unpack this, and if you're ready for the Sixers to prove everyone wrong this season, hit subscribe and never miss a moment. Kevin Durant knows what it's like to play alongside greatness. But when he puts together his dream starting five, there's one name that stings, especially for those of us following Sixers news closely. You'd think he'd call on his old teammate, someone with whom he shared multiple championship moments, the one often referred to as the best to ever play his position. But no, that's not what happened here. Instead, he called out our guy, Joel Embiid. You can feel that, right? The validation, the recognition for Embiid. For too long, the narrative around Joel has been one of almosts and not yets, of being that dominant force who still hasn't gotten his hands on the one thing we all want, the championship. But when Kevin Durant, a player who's carved out his own legend, chooses Embiid over, well, others, you know this isn't just about stats. It's about respect. It's about knowing the pain, the fight, the grind. You've seen it every time Joel steps on the court. He carries not just the expectations of a team but the hopes of an entire city. But Durant's list doesn't stop there. Alongside Embiid, you see names like LeBron James and Luka Doncic. And then there's Klay Thompson, another curious pick given where his game's been the last few years. It makes you think, what's Durant looking at here? Is he imagining the perfect mix of players for today's game? Is he recalling their peaks, those moments when they shined brighter than the rest? It's tough to say for sure. What's clear, though, is that one name didn't make the cut. And this isn't just any player. This is someone who redefined what it means to play the game, someone who turned impossible shots into routine highlights. Durant's choice to exclude him raises eyebrows, especially considering they shared championship glory together. It's a snub that hits hard for those who followed basketball for years. But back to Embiid. This is his time. Durant's acknowledgement could be just what he needs, fuel for a fire that's been burning in Philly for too long without the payoff we all crave. You and I know what this city's about. It's about heart, hustle, and not backing down, even when the odds are stacked high. And when Durant puts Embiid in that elite group, it's a nod to the fact that Joel is on the brink of something huge. There's still a lot to unpack here, especially considering the players Durant did name. Why this lineup? Why now? But let's stay with Durant's dream lineup for a second, because the more you think about it, the more it speaks to where the league is headed and how the Sixers fit into that conversation. You've seen Embiid dominate in ways that few big men in history ever have. He's not just posting up and taking jump shots, he's controlling the game on both ends of the floor. That's why Durant put him on that list. It's not just about the stats, though those are off the charts too. It's about presence. It's about the fear he strikes into the hearts of opponents when he gets going. But here's the thing, you and I both know the pain that comes with being this close. Every season, the whispers grow louder. Is this the year? Can Embiid finally carry this team past that second round? Will the Sixers be the ones lifting the trophy? And yet, season after season, something goes wrong. It's injuries, it's underperformance, it's bad luck. And every time, you feel that frustration creeping in. You don't just watch the games, you live them. You feel every turnover, every missed opportunity like a punch to the gut. Durant's list, though? It's almost like a reminder that it's not over. Far from it. Embiid is still that guy. He's the centerpiece of the Sixers squad, and Durant, of all people, knows that the window hasn't closed. Not with Embiid anchoring the paint. You've seen what he can do when he's healthy, when he's locked in. That's the guy Durant wants on his dream team. And that says something, doesn't it? But then you look at the other names on Durant's list. LeBron James, no surprise there, the guy's been dominating the league for 2 decades. Luka Doncic, sure, he's got that same kind of versatility that Durant probably admires. But Klay Thompson? That's where you start to wonder. Is Durant holding on to the past, or does he know something we don't? Klay's had a rough couple of seasons. Injuries have taken a toll, and while he's still one of the best shooters in the game, he hasn't been that same lethal force we remember. So why Klay? And maybe that's part of Durant's thinking. Maybe he values the chemistry they had together, the unspoken understanding between them that led to championships. Maybe he's choosing loyalty over current form. But it's also a curious decision when you consider the name he left out. You remember those championships, don't you? You remember the way that team played, the way it felt inevitable that they'd win, no matter what. And yet, that one player, the one who made it all possible in so many ways, didn't make Durant's list. It feels like a message, intentional or not. Durant knows what he's doing when he talks. He's aware of the conversations his comments will spark. You can't help but wonder how the player left off that list feels about all this. Does it sting? Or does it fuel the fire for another run at the title? But more than that, what does this mean for the Sixers? Durant's got his eyes on Embiid, and he's not alone. The league knows what Joel is capable of, even if the championship hasn't come yet. This is the moment where everything has to come together. You can sense it, can't you? The pieces are there, the talent, the hunger, the right mix of veterans and young stars. All it takes is for Embiid to lead the charge. The question is, what happens next? But now, think about this for a second. If Durant's putting Embiid in that lineup, what does it mean for the Sixers' future? You've been watching, you've been hoping, and every season it feels like there's this tipping point where everything could either fall into place or crumble. This past season, you saw flashes of what Embiid can do when the team is clicking, when the chemistry is there, when all the hard work leads to those dominant moments on the court. And yet, there's always that something, that one hurdle, that one setback. Does Durant see something that maybe we've missed? Does his pick of Embiid over, say, Nikola Jokic, signal a shift in the way the league views Philadelphia's franchise player? Or is it just another reminder that we're still waiting for that breakthrough? You feel it, don't you? That anticipation, that sense that this has to be the year. The talent is undeniable. The hunger is there. The fans, you included, are ready. You're ready for the Sixers to take that final step, for Embiid to cement his legacy, for Philadelphia to bring home the trophy that's eluded the city for so long. But let's talk about Durant's other choices for a minute. LeBron, Luka, Klay, there's no denying their talent, even if some of those picks seem rooted in the past. LeBron, obviously, is a lock in any conversation about the best to ever do it. Luka? He's the future, no doubt about it, and maybe that's where Durant's mind is, on the next generation. But Klay? That one still raises eyebrows. And it makes you wonder if Durant is looking at his dream lineup with a sense of nostalgia, of loyalty to the guys he's battled with, the ones he's trusted in the biggest moments. And that brings us to the biggest name Durant left out. You've probably guessed who I'm talking about by now. The player who helped redefine the modern game, whose shooting range made you question whether basketball was evolving into something completely different. This is the guy who, alongside Durant, built a dynasty. You know the one I mean, Stephen Curry. Durant left Curry out of his dream starting five. That's right. The man who many believe revolutionized basketball with his shooting, his ball handling, his sheer ability to change the way teams play defense, didn't make Durant's list. And that raises so many questions, doesn't it? How does Curry feel about that? What does it say about Durant's perspective on their time together, or on the league as a whole? But maybe the more important question is this: what do you think? Do you agree with Durant's choices? Would you put Embiid in your dream lineup? And more importantly, what do you think about Durant leaving out Curry? Was it a deliberate snub, or just a matter of picking the guys Durant feels are best suited for the game today? If you're as passionate about Sixers news as I know you are, there's a lot to unpack here. But one thing's for sure, this conversation is far from over. Durant has thrown Embiid's name into the ring with the best of the best, and now it's up to Joel and the Sixers to prove him right. Now, if you don't want to miss a second of this journey, if you want to stay locked into every piece of Sixers news as this team chases its destiny, hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you're always in the loop. We're in for a wild ride this season, and you'll want to be there every step of the way.